Hello and welcome back to another episode of Vulgar Video Vlogtober. I am your host, The Ka, and my co-host,
Samo.
And today we're going to go ahead and review The Basement, found on Netflix. We are still in our clown series. The little info thing says he plays out his capture, torture, and murder with a parade of personalities, but for his next act, a two-man face-off. What are our thoughts before we go in?
I'm just hoping it's, creepy. It looks like it's going to be a bit more like real life sort of horror as opposed to, something kind of paranormal, so that should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm... as far as like horror genre, I'm more of a campy, but if this is a bit more serious, I might get a bit more scared, but hey, that's why we're watching these horror movies anyway for our video Vulgar Vlogtober series. So let's go ahead and get right into the film.
Yeah.
Alright, what do you think?
It was actually really interesting. It was good. Not 100% if I would call it a horror movie. It's more of a thriller, really. Pretty decent twist at the end there. Pretty good gore.
Yeah.
It's alright. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's definitely a lot better than All Hallows Eve was. Mm-hmm. Overall, I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah.
I can agree with you. I wouldn't really call it a horror movie. I thought there was enough level of uncomfortableness, and it was different. I'll give it that. I don't know. I mean, are we gonna spoil it? We shall spoil it. Okay. So the opening scene is his wife sends him to go get champagne. So he goes to the liquor store, which, by the way, is a bit ridiculous because it shows him living in this like big old fucking fuck you mansion, and he's driving a Lamborghini, and there just happens to be
a liquor store
not too far away. So like, let's really look at this. If he lived in a nice ass area, right? The closest liquor store is probably like a good 15 minutes away.
And you figure he could just send somebody to go get wine.
Exactly. Like, couldn't you just send somebody to go get wine? All right. So he gets to the liquor store, and at the liquor store, there's like newspapers, which is a little hilarious because like, who reads a newspaper anymore? There's a newspaper saying that there's this Gemini killer. Okay, so once he leaves the liquor store, he gets a text from this girl named Bianca, who is not his wife, so it sounds like they're fucking each other. And then he like deletes the conversation, and then he gets snatched. And so he's in this basement, hence the title of the movie. He's in this basement. And so we thought that the movie was going to be about a psycho killer. That was Max, our cat. Yeah. Hey, bud. So that's why we were adding this to the clown week category, but apparently that's not the case. He was only a clown for like what?
Not very long.
Not very long, maybe like 3 minutes. But it was really interesting to see. I don't know why they just call him like a Zodiac killer. Not necessarily Zodiac, because like he kept changing his persona. He kept like changing who he was. So first he was a clown, then he was a...
Yeah, those are all his alters.
His alters, right? Then he was a police officer. So it's just kind of leading you down this storyline. Like he's basically portraying as our protagonist?
Yeah.
The main character, whose name is Craig, but he keeps calling him Bill. And Craig realizes, oh crap, the Gemini killer is Bill. So he's going through this storyline where basically, like, Bill's just had a really terrible childhood. Like, he watched his sister get raped when he was 7, and he just had a really hard life, and it just leads you through the story as, like, 12 different personas that he is. Mm-hmm. And so during this whole time in the basement, it also cuts to a different scene where his wife is trying to, get the police on board to find out where her husband is, and she calls her best friend, who we later find out is the woman that her husband is fucking. So, so it keeps alluding to that he's going to die at 6 in the morning with a level of gore. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Beheading by blowtorch.
Which is, you got to give it credit for originality.
Yeah,
yes.
I've never heard of that one before.
Never heard of that one before. As far as like adding on to the gore level, let's finish the plot line. So it gets closer to the end. His last persona is obviously the executioner with the Gemini sign on his apron or whatever, and like he like decapitates him via blowtorch. And so then it goes to the scene with the wife where she's like answers the door, and it's a police officer, and it's actually Bill, and we were thinking as the audience, oh shit, like she's next, because he kept alluding to like he was going to go and snatch her too if Craig didn't cooperate. Turns out, however, that she orchestrated this whole thing. It goes to a cutback a month later, and it turns out that the wife is the twin sister of Bill, our serial killer. So I thought it was interesting. I mean,
yeah, it was a pretty nice little twist right at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will say for it, that's pretty extreme reaction to finding out that your husband's been cheating on you is to hand him over to a serial killer. That's a bit extreme, but anyway, back to the gore and the torture portions of this. Pretty solid, pretty nasty stuff.
I think the grossest thing for me was like the serial killer like had a gun to his mouth, and he was like, let's see how easily we can knock out your teeth. And so like he knocks out 2 of his teeth, but not only, so that was kind of gross. But the grossest part of that was he picks up the teeth and he tells our protagonist Craig to chew on his own teeth and swallow it. And just hearing the noises was kind of disgusting.
Yeah, pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah, it was fucking gross. So there's our Vulgar for our video review. I don't know. My rating on that, I would give it a 3 out of 5. Again, it wasn't the greatest. It was way better than some other stuff we've seen. The guy who played the serial killer, I thought he did really well. Just as far as like acting as a crazy person, but acting in different personas as a crazy person. I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, so. I think our protagonist did well too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
So the performances are solid. Music's pretty creepy. There's a decent bit of gore. There's not a lot, but what is in there is pretty bad. So
yeah. No jump scares, like it wasn't really a horror. It was probably more of a thriller / psychological-ish. Like it's more gory. I don't know. Maybe not psychological, because I didn't really feel myself in the position of the antagonist or the protagonist. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would probably give it a 3 out of 5 as well.
All right, I guess that wraps it up.
All right. We will continue our series of Vulgar Video Vlogtober. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Have a good one, guys. Bye.